Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. Ukraine says its troops have recaptured 3 villages from the Russians in the southeast, the first settlements it's claimed to have liberated since launching a counteroffensive. Unverified video shows soldiers hoisting a Ukrainian flag at a bombed-out building said to be in the settlement of Bladohadatny. Mayeni Jones is monitoring developments from Kyiv.
It's mainly a symbolic victory rather than anything physically significant. It's quite a small village, only 137 people are reported to be living there. But I think the fact that it's the first territory that the Ukrainian army have claimed that they've conquered since President Zelensky confirmed that the counteroffensive had started, it's kind of a bit of a morale booster for the troops and for Ukrainians watching the conflict closely. It's in the Donetsk region, not far from Bakhmut, so I think it's also symbolic from that point of view. That was one of the most kind of contested areas.
The governor of the Kherson region in southern Ukraine says Russian shelling has killed 3 civilians during an operation to rescue people from floods caused by the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam. 10 others were wounded, including 2 police officers. The United States and Saudi Arabia have condemned the resumption of violence in the Sudanese capital Khartoum after a 24-hour ceasefire came to an end on Saturday. Ian McWilliam has more.
Residents have reported airstrikes and artillery fire following the end of the ceasefire. A neighbourhood group also said shells had landed in people's homes in the south of the city. Washington and Riyadh have issued a joint statement noting that the warring sides, the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, had largely managed to control their soldiers during the ceasefire, enabling the delivery of badly needed humanitarian assistance. The statement said it was therefore deeply disappointing that the 2 sides had immediately resumed intense violence. One resident, woken by the sound of fighting, said the one-day lull on Saturday was like a dream that had now vanished.
New details have emerged about how 4 indigenous children managed to stay alive in the Colombian rainforest for 40 days after a plane crash. They survived on manioc flour recovered from the wreckage, together with wild fruit found in the jungle. The children's father, Manuel Miller-Ranoc, said his eldest daughter told him his wife survived for several days after the crash.
All she tells me is that her mother was alive for 4 days. Before she died, she told them something like, "You guys get out of here. You guys are going to see the kind of man your dad is, and he's going to show you the same kind of great love that I have shown you. As long as I am alive, my children will be the only memory and consolation that their mother leaves with me."
This is the world news from the BBC. The Haitian Prime Minister is visiting Jamaica for 3 days of talks with current and former Caribbean leaders in an attempt to solve the governance crisis in his country. Ariel Henry said he had come to Kingston to listen and to discuss the steps Haiti can take to rebuild its democracy. The meetings in the Jamaican capital are being facilitated by 3 former Prime Ministers of Jamaica, the Bahamas, and St. Lucia. 10 people have died and 11 have been injured in a bus crash in Australia. The local mayor said the bus appeared to have been chartered for a wedding earlier in the day. The driver has been taken to hospital under police guard. More now from Phil Masser.
The emergency services were called to the town of Greta in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. This is a couple of hours' drive to the north of Sydney here in eastern Australia. What they found is that a bus had rolled over on a major roundabout that goes over a big highway. A major emergency operation is still continuing in the New South Wales Hunter Valley.
Phil Masser. Preliminary results suggest the new pro-Europe movement of Montenegro's President Jakov Milatovic has narrowly won the country's parliamentary elections. Europe Now is projected to have taken a quarter of the vote, but only 1 percentage point more than the second largest party, led by the veteran former president Milo Djukanovic. Europe Now's co-founder Milojka Spajic is now poised to become Montenegro's prime minister. Football and the Egyptian side Al Ahly have won the African Champions League for a record 11th time. Al Ahly drew 1-1 against Wydad Casablanca in the final second leg match in Morocco, securing a 3-2 victory on aggregate. BBC World News.